right back. All right. Get this out of the way. All right. Let's see here. What's going on? All right. What's up, Hops and Wrenches? My little buddy Tim. All right. Need to adjust anything? I think we're good. All right. Hear me? Everything good on your end? Yeah, I had to put a sign up. Go get a beer. Here it is. Oh yeah, you're brewing. That's right. Lichtenheiner, correct? How far along are you in your brew day? We, of course, have not started yet. Let's see here. It's just you and someone else so far. Let's see here. Make sure we need a. I think that's good, huh? Like, see the kettle, you can see me. I can see that. Okay. Yeah, just some random junk in the background. I think we're good. Heating up the sparge water. Sweet. So you're about 2 steps ahead of me so far. That's pretty cool. But yours is going to be a pretty quick day, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be fun. Does it look like it's going to rain over there? It looks like it's going to rain over here for sure. Well, I've been watching it. It looked like it was going to rain earlier. I think it's starting to clear up. Let's see. This, not really digging that screen there. I like this one better, but it is on the reverse. Anyways, just trying to fine tune this. Always seems to be a little bit different than I remember. You drinking a beer yet, Tim? Got the old California Common right here. Did you see Spirit of 76 opened up earlier today too? I got 3 entries going in on that, so that's kind of exciting. We'll talk about that. We'll probably hear in a little bit once everybody else starts to get in here. Start talking about all kinds of crazy shenanigans. Well, it looks like I'd already gotten most of the prep work done. For some reason, I always seem to remember it taking a minute longer to kind of get this operational and everything. Wait a few more minutes before we start pouring our strike water. Ugh. Strike water. Yep. Only 2 people there. It's showing over here. Yep. All right. Well, it might actually work out better for me being able to see this like this. 2 watching now. Yeah. Okay. I like that better. All right. Well, no, I'm here to entertain you, and I'm sorry for not doing so right this second. I thought that would be scrambling to get all kinds of other things going. I was too proactive this morning. Hate it when that happens. Yes, sir. Yep. Going to do a Rye IPA today. That's on the title screen. Well, I guess we can probably go ahead and get the strike water going while we're waiting. Let's do that. Well, what the heck? Huh. I guess it's going to possibly buffer every once in a while, even though I got it on the wired connection. Hopefully, this doesn't turn out to be a big deal. Hopefully, it chills out. All right. Got the strike water going. So we're moving along, getting started. Um, Looks like there might be some buffering issues going on here. I tried to ensure that I've got the wired connection going. It looks like I've got it going. I guess maybe for some reason I'm just going to have some shitty internet today. Sorry about that. Um, I'll do what I can, but unfortunately, it just decided that it's not going to cooperate. Maybe possibly today, at least for a little bit. I don't know. But we got the strike water going, so that's cool. I know Tim was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still here. Tim from Hops and Wrenches. Um, if you're not Tim and you're here watching, tell me hello. If you are Tim, hi Tim. Thanks for sticking around for a few more extra minutes while I was getting the water going. All right, so it's just you and I then, basically. Looks like. maybe one other person, but so I don't know if you saw any the descriptions and stuff doing the Mean Brews Rye IPA today. Never really have had a Rye IPA. I like rye. Not the biggest fan of IPAs, but hopefully this will maybe kind of help push me more in that direction of IPA styles, enjoyments, and stuff. So I've got a overhead fan going. I don't know if you can hear me very well, or I need to cut that out or not. So how do I sound? Maro, you're here. How's it going, buddy? Can you hear me all right? I got an overhead fan going, and I don't know if it's kind of crossing me out or not. That's good. I'm happy you're doing well, buddy. All right. Looks like we got a couple more people joining, so that's fun. Good, because it's kind of starting to get warm around here, and fan is very helpful, especially with this hot ass kettle warming up over here. So, yep. So if you're new to the stream, tell us hello. I got a couple fans here. Tim from Hops and Wrenches YouTube channel, and my buddy Omaro, my homie. So we got the strike water going. Just trying to bring it up to temp. Tim, Morrow, either one of y'all had a rye IPA yet? Ever? See, we only got two people, maybe possibly watching now. Okay. Well, to tell you the truth, I've never known that there was a good time to drink them or not. I just decided that being a person that's in MHP, I'm trying to always brew something different, get some score sheets back, and kind of looking at IPAs. Rye IPA seemed to be pretty interesting to me, so I decided that I would give that a try, especially if I like rye. I'm not the hugest IPA fan, but liking rye, I decided that I would give it a shot and see what happens. And so I went to Mean Brews, his YouTube channel, and looked at his recipe that he had available there. So it looked pretty interesting. So that's what we're brewing today. Basically the same recipe. I changed I changed the water chemistry just a little bit to kind of match something that was a little closer from what he had to what I already had, like pre-saved in Beersmith. So that's pretty much the biggest difference. I think he used a different yeast than I'm going to use, uh, but essentially it's basically USO5. So USO5's got like 20 different names it goes under from yeast providers and stuff like that. So figured I would give it a shot and see what happens. episodes. Like I'm hoping that it turns out good. I don't see why it wouldn't. I figured worst case scenario, like it won't be my favorite beer. You know what I mean? So Mario, I know you just got done brewing yesterday, and Tim is brewing today. Tim's brewing his uh, Lichtenheiner again, so that's pretty exciting. His first one that he brewed was really good. And then what did you brew again, Mario? It was, let's see here. Oh yeah, that was right. Like the amberish brownish ale. I'm calling it a Georgian brown. Yeah, there you go. Georgian brown. Georgia brown ale. Nothing wrong with that. Got a California comment here. But got done with this pint. Really digging this beer. This turned out to be really good. Northwest. Good to see you, buddy. How are you? Just talking to some of the other regulars. Good to see you. 2024 new category for Georgia Brown Ale. Well, for that to happen, it's actually quite a process to get a new category recognized. We'll have to see we'll have to see how it treks there, buddy. So Northwest, what are you keeping up to lately? What are you brewing? I'm trying to decide what to brew after this next. I feel like I need to get some summer beers going, some of my summer jams. Feeling like need to get that Lithuanian farmhouse going again. I need to get an ice blender going again. Um, I know Tim and I from Hops and Wrenches, we talked about trying to get a beer done together as a collaboration. We were going to try to get it done in spring, and really that's kind of past us now. So that sucks, but we'll get it together. We'll get it knocked out. Um, I was thinking about what beers do I need to have on tap for this summer. So I'm thinking my Lithuanian farmhouse because that's my normal uh, kind of summer jam. Blender wise, I don't know what else. What else would you guys recommend? You know, I normally always have a stout on hand. It's been a while. Um, that pre-prohibition lager that I did, man, I really need to brew that again. That turned out to be a really good beer. I think that'd be good for another summer one. Northwest, I have a dark Czech lager nor fermenting right now. Yes, I'm interested to see how that one turns out. Sounds pretty dang good. I haven't used that Nova lager yet, but I've been seeing more and more people use it. It looks interesting for sure. Sorry, I had to see what our strike temp was. Yeah, the Blondale collaboration with old Tim from Hops and Wrenches. So, Train, if you're new to the channel, we try to embrace all the ambient noises during the live streams, and you get to hear some of them during uh, the normal videos. I try to keep those things edited out as much as possible, but sometimes they just get by. Let's see here. Bill Nova brewing a pale ale myself today. Good deal. Pale ales, they're always good. I'm gaining more and more of an appreciation for those things for sure. What temp am I shooting for? What temp am I shooting for, or what temp is someone else shooting for? My strike temp is going to be 159 degrees. It should have been like 159.1, but I'm not going to worry about that decimal. So that'll be the strike temp. Our mash temp should get down to 152 degrees, and we will be mashing for 75 minutes. So we've got some. Let's see. Let's take a look at the recipe. It's been a while since I looked at it. Again, this is pretty much a direct copy of the Mean Brews recipe. So we'll have 73.1% pale malt 2-row. Let's see here, 8% rye malt, 8% flaked rye, 5% crystal 60, 4% carafoam, and then right at 2% victory malts. So should be a pretty interesting grain bill. I think it'll be a really good beer. I mean, hell, we have almost, let's see here, 16% total for rye. So that'll be, I think that'll be pretty good. So we're coming up on 140. I'm gonna go ahead and dunk my water salts into this so that way they can get going, and I'll be right back. Here's the water salts. Also, I'm trying to shoot the video for this beer too, so hopefully that turns out well and it all works out. All right, so got those water salts put in. The Mean Brews one, he called for a little bit different water profile than what I'm shooting for. Because I used beer, I took what Matt from Mean Brews had, and I looked at what he had versus kind of like what I had available already pre-saved at Beersmith, and it was pretty close to the amber dry water profile. So that's what I decided to shoot for my water salts on this one. I don't see it being too big of a difference personally. I don't know enough about all the ions in that as far as water chemistry goes. I just try to do what I can where I can. I figured, it's probably going to be fairly close enough. Um, so we're coming up, getting really close to time to match in. So that's exciting. Let's see here, Bill Nova, Northwest Small. Where are you brewing out of? Yeah, Washington here. Yeah. Northwest. He's out towards that way. I think he's in Washington State. If I'm not mistaken, I think that he's closer to kind of the Seattle area, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. If you're still here, Northwest, chime in and let us know. For those that hadn't seen it yet, this is what's left of my California Common today that I've been drinking on since the stream started. So, really surprised about how this one came out. I'm in Portland. See, I wanted to say Portland. That's what I thought what you told me before, but I didn't want to just blurt that out and be all wrong. Sitting here in my wrongness being wrong, you know what I mean? But man, this California Commons really came out to be extremely good. I'm happy with it. This one's going to go into a competition, so we'll see how that turns out. I think as far as like the commons and stuff, I really think that I think I like the Kentucky common a little bit better. This is a little bit more roasty, a little bit more toasty, more drier, not astringent, but kind of heading that way. Whereas like the Kentucky common, my opinion, is a little bit smoother, a little bit more sweeter, a little bit more well-rounded. But that might be just because this needs just a touch more on the recipe. First time I brewed it, so we'll see how it trends for a little bit. Got about another 2 degrees. So what's everybody been up to? Everybody doing good? You guys got coming down the pipeline? All right, it's time to mash in. I'll be right back to some of these comments. You guys talk amongst yourself. Let me know what you guys want to hear about from me, and I'll come back and kind of answer some questions and go over like what we're doing, what we've done. I'll be right back. Smells wonderful already. If you haven't done it yet, sure you like the video so far, live stream. You haven't done it yet either. Subscribe. It's worth it. Promise you. Just ask Morrow. He'll tell you. Getting close. All right. All right. Looks like we got some more people here. In case you didn't know, during the streams we embrace all the ambient noises that I have here. Chickens over there. Right now we got some birds. There's some cicadas. There's a train. Good thing today's not trash day. We'd have to deal with that. Let's see here. What's going on? So, no, Northwest. This is not my new kettle. This is my older kettle. This is my first anvil one that I've got. I haven't brewed in the new kettle yet. Let's see here. Why do you want to restart computer? Worst freaking time. So I haven't brewed in that yet. I got something planned though. It's coming up. It's soon. I got to move through probably, I don't know, maybe 2-3 more beers before I do something. Break in the new kettle. Let's see here. Him with hops and wrenches, sparging out. Cool. Yeah, nice. Morning and or afternoon, party people. What's up, Tommy? Good to see you. Welcome aboard. Let's see here, Chris. Lots of hard work. Going to Florida. That's right, you are. Remember you telling me about that. Yeah, cool. Hopefully, see you posted on Instagram. That'd be pretty cool to see some pictures there of that. So, other than that, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're new to the stream, welcome. Today we're brewing the Mean Brews IPA, Rye IPA. Little story about this. So I'm not the hugest IPA fan. I love me some rye, so I figured why not try to brew a rye IPA and see what's going on. Yeah, so I'm not following my own recipe. I decided to go to the Mean Brews YouTube channel, Matt Harold, and look at his stuff. I figured he kind of does he gathers like a bunch of raw data, like winning recipes and stuff, and he basically configures what's the key components that are making these things win in competitions. So that way it's truest to style, right? And I decided that that would probably be the best way for me to approach this instead of trying to come up with my own thing and deciding, oh, like I dislike it, and then swearing it off or something like that, because you never know. But I decided to go to his channel. The link to the video should be in the description for his recipe. And I decided to make my own video of me doing his recipe. There are some differences between his recipe and mine. The biggest one being the water chemistry. Mine's a little bit different. I tried to take his water chemistry and just found the closest profile that was already pre-saved in Beersman. So that's what I did. But other than that, the percentages, starting gravity, all that's the same. I believe in the video, and it's been a while since I watched it, he said to use basically USO5 or whatever adjacent it is, USO5 has a bunch of different names from different manufacturers. I'm using USO5 here. I'm going to use 2 packets for it because it's above 1050. So, make sure I got enough yeast to get going on that. But other than that, everything's pretty much the same IBUs, same gravities. So it should turn out to be pretty good. It's estimated at 7.7 ABV, so that'll be fun. Have I used molasses in a recipe? Yes, I have. 2 actually. So I got a video on the pre-prohibition porter. I used molasses on it, and then I used molasses on the collaboration video I did with the Grim Bavarian. We did a tropical stout, and so I used molasses in that as well. So I've used molasses a few times, and I forgot to set a timer for my mash. So I don't know how many minutes I lost there, but we're just going to go ahead and call it good and start from 0. So I don't think it'll hurt us to mash for 85 instead of 75 minutes. So anyways, what are you planning on using molasses in other than your, what was it, the Georgian amber that you got there? Molasses can add a little bit of a weird taste. I mean, not like in the off flavor, but hard to identify anyways. Yes, it does add that unique character. I remember the tropical stout when I was taste testing it. I was sitting there like, what is this taste? Like I can't quite pin it. And it didn't taste to like totally like molasses to me, but then the light bulb went off and it was like, hey, that's the molasses you added for sure. Anybody else use molasses? Small batch? Tommy? Tim? But yeah, so I know I had already asked, let's see here, Morrow and Tim from Hops and Wrenches, but has anybody tried a Rye IPA? Let's just talk about IPAs just in general. What's your favorite IPAs? If you have any, Nope, haven't used molasses. What kind of stout did you use it in, Chris? I like I said, I used it in my tropical stout just because it was kind of more historical thing. I will be right back. I'm gonna get some food. So this is a Whataburger. If you haven't had the chance to have Whataburger, you're just living in the wrong place. Sorry. Small batch, no, but so Northwest. I started to watch your video yesterday. I've had a few things kind of going on here recently, so we had to kind of take like an emergency road trip kind of deal. Nothing big there. Don't really want to get into it, but I started watching your video yesterday and then kind of got sidetracked. I'm gonna go back and kind of like catch up on your stuff. I was almost caught up on all your stuff. Like, see here, I used it in a mint vanilla stout. Oh, okay, cool. Mint vanilla stout. I've used who's used mint here? I've used mint a couple times. First time it came out really weird. Last time I used it was in that thin mint stout that I did, and that came out like perfect. Well, moving right along. Got about 5 more minutes left in that timer. Start over. Sorry for eating on camera. Normally I don't, but kind of been a weird time, you know. So let's see here. Up the wrenches was not a fan of IPAs when they first started coming out soon, but they're starting to grow me. Yeah. Um, so when you look at an IPA, what are you looking for? Like what do you want? Some of my I guess more favorite IPAs are kind of like those juicy, hazy type IPAs. I don't want all that like West Coast burn or anything. So I guess more of the like New England style type where not getting all that pine and citrus, kind of get more of like, I guess when it comes to citrus, more kind of like a orange juice or whatever, or like that dank orange juice. I figured with this rye IPA, we'd have some expressions from like the peppery notes, you know, not necessarily like those phenols, but like the pumpernickel and that kind of stuff that you pick up from the rye malt. Especially like I said, I mean it's like what almost 16, 17% rye on this recipe, and then we're using the USO5 yeast, and so hopefully we have a pretty good clean fermentation there. We're using Mosaic, Simcoe, and Citra. So in my mind, it's going to have a little bit of a citrus hit, but hopefully it's not going to be overly exemplified. Um, so like as far as commercial examples go, I'm going to take it, Chris. You've never had two that you wanted to get two of, or you've never had one that you wanted to get 2 pints of. Um, and that's fair, I guess, as long as you're always like trying something new. Um, but I guess when it comes to IPAs, like I get turned off by that super hot bitterness, like West Coast, like kind of deal. It's like I said, it's got to be kind of more of the the smoother, juicier side of things, you know. So if you haven't stopped in and said hello yet, I know we got Mario here. We've got Tim from Hops and Wrenches. We got my buddy Steven from Northwest. I saw Bill Nova in here earlier, and then there was one other person. Where are you? But if you haven't stopped in and said hello yet, please do so. I'd like to see each and every one of you. Tommy was here. But so I know we talk about it time to time again about like what's your favorite beer style. Looks like we've kind of got some newer people to the stream that we've had in previous streams. I enjoy a really good saison farmhouse type beer. Uh, Hello there. Every time. Um, but I enjoy a really good saison farmhouse, Hefeweizen, etc. I was the same. We had West Coast IPAs, like some of the Nepos. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I the pine and citrus. It's kind of like pine and citrus to me is kind of like that whole sour and bitter. Like they just really clash on my palate, you know. But again, I'm also like ginger sensitive, so maybe my palate's just black. Northwest, I know you like some of the like darker, bigger beers, huh? I know my buddy Tim from Hops and Wrenches. He's really kind of dove off into that like Lichtenheiner experiment. He's been doing a whole lot of that. I think this is what your third, fourth batch of it, Tim. So that was the 10-minute mark there. But love the pine notes. I like the pine like from like say saws or not saws but like a cluster, you know, some of the I guess more like noble style uh American hops, not so much the in your face like citra super super grapefruit and orange slice mix kind of deal, you know, like those piney woody earthy type notes I can get behind. Citra's good. I've done like a smash Citra before just to kind of learn what Citra was. Um, Cascade, I did the same. El Dorado, a few other ones. I think I can kind of pick those out in some beers. We're using Citra today. We're using Mosaic. I've never used Mosaic, and we're using Simcoe as well. I've never used Simcoe. You know, kind of really like a Saz and cluster type of guy. The hops I'm growing right now, um, they're the Neo Mexicanus multi heads, and so they're supposed to be kind of like um, a little bit more like on the earthy side, heading a little bit more kind of towards like a what I would almost expect from like say cluster, with maybe just a hint of like that orange citrus type of feel. Kevin, good to see you, buddy. English hops are great in my opinion. You talking about like Fuggles? My buddy Tim from Hops and Wrenches, he did a Fuggles beer. It was really good. Sorry again for eating on camera, but it's just that time of day, and I didn't have a whole lot of forethought before getting going on this. East Kent Goldings is really good. I like East Kent Goldings. Or put that in the saison farmhouse beers. That and Saws. I think Saws and Cluster are probably my two favorite hops for sure. Magnum's a pretty good hop too for just like a straight clean bitterness. Like to use that in beers as well. Mostly like those sour ones. I'll fuggle it. Yep. Fuggle you too, buddy. So, Kevin, I know you pretty well. Some of these other guys don't. What are you brewing? I know you said that you were going to try to brew what's yesterday, Saturday? I can't remember. Yeah, Chris likes Fuggles as well. Weren't you experimenting with Mount Hood as well, Maru? Fuggle Rock. Yes, you're mild. Okay, that was today. For some reason, I was thinking you were doing that yesterday. What is time and who's in charge of it? Willamette. That's a good hop. I've only played with it a few times. Had to work yesterday. Yeah, working sucks. Can't wait to be done with that. One day. Unfortunately, tomorrow is not the day. Oh, see here. So, what else is going on? Um, well, around here, we we've done a lot of batch filming and editing. So, we did a lot of releases going. So it's nice to see a bunch of new subscribers kind of joining the channel and commenting and stuff. I think we've been able to switch up the material enough that there's something kind of always going on that's a little bit different, but more or less along the same, you know, general topics. Um, let's see here. We've got some pretty interesting videos coming up. This time next weekend, well, actually next Saturday, we've got a competition or homebrew competition for the Bay Area Masternauts. The we'll have the results on those beers that went in, all 12 of them. So that's pretty exciting. I entered another competition this morning. That one went pretty quickly, sold out. It was low entry counts, I think the 150 total there. So we were able just to get in. We got in pretty early, so there was quite a few entries left by the time that we got in, but it didn't last very long. Just over an hour, it sold out. So we got 3 beers going into that one. Let's see here. We had 3 beers go in previously, not that long ago, into something else. So it's going to be kind of fun to see some of these things, some of the score sheets starting to kind of really start coming back this year. I'm only really focused on our state circuits here, the Lone Star State circuit, just kind of playing around, see how that stuff works out for me. Get the score sheets in. If you don't know, I'm a member of Master Homebrewer Program, and it's a pretty fun deal for people that like to put in stuff for competitions. It's kind of like beer scouts. You get some badges and stuff like that. You get a dashboard that shows how you've been performing. You get to compare it with some of your friends. I know Kevin, he's a member of MHP as well, so we like to compare each other's scores and score sheets a lot, back and forth a little bit, and kind of say, okay, this is a beer that's been consecutively scoring a 32. What do you think it's going to take to get it up another couple of notches or something like that? So it's just kind of another little fun thing to do in home brewing. But what else is going on with you guys? I know Kevin's said that he's brewing today. I know Hops and Wrenches. Tim said he was brewing today. When are you brewing again next, Northwest? Morrow just brewed. Bill was brewing as well. He was brewing a pale ale, I think. Maybe that was Tommy. Your homebrew club meeting is at the Yakima Hops. Dude, that would be awesome. That was probably pretty awesome thing to be able to arrange right there. All right, let's stir up a mash, take a look at the temperature, and see if it's time to bump it up or not. $152. All right, so we're still pretty good on the temperature as of right now. Let's see here. I'll have a new video out next Saturday. Just one yesterday. Cool. Well, if you want to give it away, let us know. If not, I totally understand. Northwest brewing next week. That's awesome. Oh yeah, so Tim from Hops and Wrenches, he has a Battle Nova, old Chevrolet Nova that he's playing around with, kind of rebuilding. Okay, cool. That'll be be cool. We still need to get together and kind of do that kind of taste test there, Kevin. The beer comparison and score sheets review. on a beer. So I am on the Gulf Coast of Texas. I'm kind of right around the Galveston area. I'm a small podunk city, kind of just on the outskirts of Houston. I live right by a highway. There's all kinds of other noises. Get planes that fly over, not commercial, more private. There's helicopters from time to time. Trash trucks pretty often. Like I said, we just embrace the ambient noise around here. But I'm rural enough that I have about 14 chickens right over that way. We've got several gardens kind of located around the property here, which is actually going to be the topic of the next video that comes out, kind of like all the garden stuff and how we're kind of implementing it into kind of like the brewery here, the home brewery, like some of that kind of stuff. So that was a pretty fun video to put together. And then we've got some other kind of funner, different videos coming up. Yep. We try to get some gardening done. Like I got some hops over there. We've got some spices that I think would be fun to play around with some beers. Over here in this garden, we've got several things out front. I've got cactus to use a lot of prickly pear from time to time on different things. So I've seen Maro that looks like on my side, like it lags just a little bit. I am on a wired connection. I guess it's just the network in the area or something. Kind of deciding to not be cooperative today, which is about par for course. Anytime I want to do something, there's always going to be some kind of outage or whatever. I know my computer keeps telling me that it wants to restart, so, which is I started it up Friday, made sure it was all up to date. Then I started it up last night, made sure that we had all the updates available. Then I started it up again about an hour before the stream to make sure that we were done with updates and stuff. And now it's telling me that it has another update. So don't know why it is that it feels like it needs to update so often, but yeah. So, other than that, we're still just rolling along here. It's looking like we dropped a little bit in temperature, so I'm going to have to fire this up so that way we can be sure that we have that constant temp. All right. Let's see here. Could be on my end. TV's fine, but do you have a thermal well in that? Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure all the freezing and stuff is totally on my side of things. I guarantee you, it's all here because I see the wheel of progress or non-progress happening. So, it's got a thermometer on it, Northwest. Um, it is kind of sort of hard to see because like the level. So sometimes that's why I stoop down to kind of see what it is. I guess I'll post a picture of it on my on the community page or something like that. But yeah, no, it's got a thermometer in it that we're able to see. Uh, it's not really a thermal well, because it's like it bolts or screws directly into the kettle here. So, yep. I know. I think this thing you have to have like almost 3 gallons, 2.5 gallons, something like that, for it to be able to read properly. This is the 10-gallon kettle. My 20-gallon kettle is inside the house. Like I said, I'm trying to debate what to what to brew in that. Um, I've got it in my head that I want to do like really big barley wine type of beer, uh, but it's really more focused on like basically a rye barley wine. My friend Brian from Michigan Brews, he sent me his recipe for a rye barley wine, and it really looked interesting. It got me kind of thinking what to do there. So I made a rye barley wine recipe, kind of sort of based off of his and a few others that were like inspiring. Uh, and so I think if I do that, it's going to be basically a 10-gallon batch. And then I was thinking about dividing it out five, just plain Jane, and then maybe doing like five that's on some kind of uh, maybe bourbon or rye whiskey soaked wood chips there. But I also really want to do a Boulevard beer. They've got a Rye on Rye beer, and so it's basically a rye ale that they a rye ale that they put on rye whiskey barrels, and it's like 13%, and it's one of my favorite all time commercial beers. It's super seasonal. So I wouldn't try to clone that per se. It just kind of would be another inspired type of beer. Um, you know, do something like that. Um, you know, even though I know technically I probably should do some kind of blonde ale or some light beer or something like that, and really kind of just run that kettle through its paces, just make sure all my efficiencies are going to come in, boil off rates, and all. If I did do something like that, like a test batch before I just went off and did a custom recipe, a big boy recipe or something like that, it would probably be like the Lithuanian farmhouse, something that a recipe that I know works out really good on this kettle. Really, there shouldn't be too many dynamic changes. I would think that I think that I could just pretty much essentially do a double batch of the Lithuanian in that thing, and then that way I'd have 10 gallons of that sitting around here, and I know that that will move pretty quickly between myself and all my friends. Everybody really likes that one. Hit or miss. Yeah, I'm sure, and that's one of those things. I've never brewed a barley wine, but for a while I was looking at you know, like for a big beer, that Boulevard type beer. I was thinking about doing the what you call it, like malt extract, like substituting some of that in there. You know, yeah, she kind of, but it's okay. Hey, Northwest said you're photobombing me. No, you're fine. We're good. Just thought I'd let you know. I'll tell him he sucks. Okay. I'll tell him he sucks. Okay. Okay. Well, she said that she was sorry, but I also told her that I would tell you that that you suck, Northwest. You know. But anyways, um, no. So the sorry, it's hot out here. The like barley wine substitution there. Uh, I was thinking about doing like a malt extract there. Uh, because I was worried about like the grain capacity here on starting off on something that's got to be such a big OG, right? And so I think I'm just going to be over that, just not doing a big barley wine in this. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that in the big kettle. So long story short, that's where we're at with that. That's what I think I'm going to do, anyways. But you got any hints on brewing a barley wine there, Northwest, or hell, anybody done one? Got any hints? Sorry if you see me scratching. I got into a bunch of poison ivy about a week ago now, and so I'm trying not to scratch it, but it's at the point that I really need to probably apply some more medicine on it. It's kind of being bothersome. So I keep seeing. Looks like we'll drop down a few people and get a few new people in, possibly. If you haven't commented, please do so. If you haven't liked the video, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, do that as well, please. Every little bit helps. Um, if you're new to the stream, today we're brewing a Rye IPA, and the Rye IPA is basically based off of the Mean Brews recipe. His video to his recipe is here in the comments, and I'm making my own video on basically my approach to it. The grain bill's the same, IBUs are pretty much the same, all that. Water chemistry is going to be a little different, and I believe I chose a different yeast than he did. See here, it's a lot of grain. Needs a big pot or split batch. Yep, that's basically what I was going to do. Was well, I was thinking about split batching out of the 20-gallon kettle there into two 5-gallon batches after it was all said and done. I know I could probably squeeze out, you know, maybe 12, 13, gallons of wort possibly out of that for a barley wine, maybe. But I think we're going to focus on just trying to get two 5-gallon batches to be able to play with, you know, or one really big 7.5-gallon batch. But yeah, I think if I remember right, I mean I don't have Beersmith on my laptop where I look it up, but if I remember right, I think that it was the starting gravity on it was like 1 point like 110 or something like that. I can't remember. It's definitely going to be the biggest beer I've ever fermented. So I know it's going to take a heck of a lot of yeast, a lot of oxygen, and I'm sure quite a bit of patience. Uh, Patience is not something that I've known for a lot. I kind of get impatient and then try to hurry up and rush things, and so this is going to be a good exercise in that for me, I'm sure. So, yep. So looking forward to that. Like I said, just don't know which direction I need to go. Anyways, what's everybody looking forward to brewing next? Like I said, I think my next focus is pretty much just going to be on summer beers. Maybe look at starting to get some fall beers rounded up. Um, Kind of been taking some notes on some other styles that I'm interested in. Like, I hadn't brewed an amber ale yet, which is kind of funny when you think about it, because I think almost everybody brews one of those kind of first out the gate. I know I've done an extract kit, on one once or twice, but I've never brewed one there. So that'll be fun to kind of play around with. Um, I know I got a friend. He just brewed a Belgian IPA, and it came down to I was either going to brew a Belgian IPA or this Rye IPA. I'm looking forward to brewing my first batch next month. Oh, okay, cool. So, Tommy, you've never brewed like at all before, or have you done any extract kits or anything like that? There's no like really coming into this hobby, I guess, wrong or backwards or reverse or anything like that. Like any way that you get into the hobby is the right way to get into it. Like everybody has their own starting point as far as that goes. You know. Also, what are you gonna brew first? That'd be interesting. Maro was all extract until recently. Yeah, I remember when you crossed over. Some components to come in next week. Forward to I sent you. Yeah, yeah, that'll definitely be a very interesting brew. See, I've done one of those Mr. Beer extract kits once. I did one time too, and that was several years after I had started brewing. Matter of fact, I already had the channel, so I'd probably been brewing about 6, maybe 7 years, something like that, possibly. And yeah, that was a terrible beer, Mr. Brew Kit. Yeah, that's for sure. I know I started much later than say Northwest did, and I from the time of now, from the time when I started brewing, like it's way easier, and I did not have a hard time at all. Occasionally you'll get yeast or hops, you know, that are just unavailable, but other than that, like that's it. Have a you brew place. Oh, that's pretty cool. Huh. That's that's really interesting. So basically you buy all your stuff from them and they just ferment it for you, like just everything. That's really interesting. I'll have to look into that. Not that I would use that, but it's really interesting way to approach it. So that way, I guess you brew everything there, huh? See here, we have a local. So I'm trying to hit 1040 on my OG. It seems to be stuck at 1030. So Tim, you're trying to hit your 1040 OG. You're stuck at 1030. First off, did you? I'm sure you stirred your worts or whatever. How are you at on your volumes then? Like that's the only thing that I can say before you try to go add anything. Let's see here. You pay them a flat fee for all grain brew. Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Surely, I guess you go there, you use all their own equipment, and I guess you possibly, and then you just go from there. Let's see here, add some DME. Yeah, you can probably do that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Volume is almost spot on. Yeah, I would say just make sure that you've started up pretty good. Are you using a hydrometer or a refractometer? We had that kind of that kind of slip up there on the Rye Irish Stout, where couldn't explain where all that missing OG went. Refractometer. I would just try to verify that, make sure that it's reading 0 on distilled water, and then, add you some DME. I mean, I know it sucks, but at least you'll have it beered. There's summer, I started collecting equipment to brew at home. I'm doing a lot of research. I think I'm going to start with a very small sip. Yeah, so I mean, this kettle is a 10-gallon volume kettle, and I can produce a 5-gallon batch there of decent starting gravity. For something like 5-7%, something like that. I could probably do like 7.5 gallons if I really pushed it. Made kind of like a lighter beer there. But there's other things that you can do, like extended boils to kind of boil off some of that and get some bigger numbers that way as well. I haven't done all those tricks. I've tried a few of them. Reiterative mash. Uh, I'd like to try that eventually one time. I think that would be kind of fun. It's not available, sadly. I've got some DME. If you want to come over here in a little bit, I can probably spare you some, Tim. It's going to be a little bit though. I know you're probably. What are you in post boil or are you in pre boil? if you if you really want to try it out, throw a couple pounds of sugar at it. I mean, that would be wrong, but like I said, I've got some DME if you need some. Tim and I from Hops and Wrenches, we know each other. Uh, he and I work together. He lives not terribly far away from me, so I was being sarcastic. I guess I should have probably put a disclaimer there. You're about 15 minutes past your bowl time. Well, like I said, I mean, you can come get some DME uh, from me here in a little bit. I guess maybe when I get kind of going here in the boil or something like that. It would suck for you to have to kind of fire it back up and like sanitize it again or whatever. I guess you could try to figure it out like with the you could probably boil it in some water and then add it that way. With the 10 gallons, have you ever gotten close to a boil over? Yes, I have. You know, different things lead to that, right? So, like, I've had too much water, like for my strike or something like that, and, and I wasn't paying attention to my volumes. Is really kind of the biggest thing that's to some boilovers or near boilovers for me. Firm cap is your friend. Yep. Being vigilant. Also, uh, I'd seen somebody say something about like you can use a wooden spoon laid across there. When it touches it, it'll blow it down or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, uh, I've never used firm cap. I've always just kind of have roughed it. You know what I mean? Firm cap is just something that you can add when you start to go into the boil. Uh, it'll help deteriorate all that foam that you get when you're boiling. I believe Northwest also scoops, if I'm not mistaken, any of the stuff that comes to the top of his. Isn't that right? Yes. There you go. That's a little bit more technical. The surface tension. Okay. For some reason, I thought you scammed. I can't remember who it is. I know Dr. Hans does, but I don't. I just if the beer doesn't want it, it'll bump it out after fermentation. It's complete. That's my opinion, anyways. All right, coming really close on wrapping this thing up for the mash. Turn around. Your lid fell off. Your lid fell off. How about that, Brian Stevens? After everything that I said nice about you before you hopped on, you big jerk. Yeah, I use Warflock in everything. I don't care. I don't care if it was a easy IPA or not. I would use Warflock in there regardless. That's just me. Also use yeast nutrients and everything. And when I use Click, I double up on the yeast nutrients. So, Mr. Brian Stevens, welcome to the show, buddy. What are you brewing? What do you got coming down your pipeline? For those that don't know, Brian he's also an MHP member. He's on my team that I direct as well for MHP, and then he is also the coordinator of a Michigan homebrew competition. So that's going to be exciting to see how that comes along for him. Really, really happy for him on that. Looks like he and his partners and his brew club are doing some good things with that. One day, hopefully, I'll be able to enter that and get some kind of awesome medal that I'll request that he hand delivers to me. I doubt he would do it though. No, man. Join when you can. No, we're doing all nice, laid back brewing today. Uh, so no rush or anything like that. Yeah, I'm fixing to have to clean out some Keyser space too here before too much longer. I was just telling everybody a little bit ago. We're gonna get rendezvous results back next Saturday, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm feeling it, feeling it. So y'all keep your fingers crossed for me next Saturday. I need all the help I can get. But I I entered another competition today, Spirit of '76. So that'll be fun to send off some beers there. It'll be first time I've entered that competition. So I don't know really what to expect there, but I really feel like I'm knocking out some of the best beer I've ever brewed. Uh, so I'm feeling it for this one too. Feeling it for all of them. Hopefully they're not false fillings. Yeah. Did you get in on Lunar? Can't remember. I'm gonna be there in person to collect all 12 of my medals. Well, we'll see. I doubt that happens, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings to get some more hardware. What do you what do you got brewing next, Brian? What are you doing? It's coming next down your pipeline. Yeah, well, I'm sure you've been focused on several different things. I know, MHP projects that we're working on there, and your Michigan homebrew competition there. So, this is Mean Brews Rye IPA recipe. If you didn't know, uh, if you haven't done it yet, like, subscribe, all that. If you're new to the stream, uh, we've had surprisingly very few interruptions from the ambient area. Get a train a little earlier. Got some birds, some cicadas. Chickens have been pretty quiet, cool. But other than that, moving along pretty good here. It's gonna be time to get out of the mash, and I'm gonna head into the mash out. So, Brian, we also talked about IPAs earlier. What's your favorite IPA? What do you like? Got a blueberry wheat cake today. Just take a pineapple and American wheat beer fermented around aged. So that's a lot of information you just typed out right there, sir. So all that sounds really interesting. Um, I'm actually submitting an American wheat into Spirit of '76, a few other things going into that. Congratulations on NHC Rye Stouts IPA recipe. All right, blueberry wheat. That sounds really good. Is that one that you normally brew? Getting rid of some bottles. I've got to get rid of some bottles. I've been slacking on shipping out some beer. I owe Morrow some, a few other people. It's just sometimes it's like kind of like oh, crap, I'm doing this, and then just, you know how life goes. Just jumped it to 10:35. What'd you do to get to 10:35 for your the Tim? Stir in some apple juice. And I was being sarcastic when I said that too. So I follow a couple different ways. Um, so there's some things that I bottle condition. I was bottle conditioning mostly all last year for competitions. Uh, this year I've kind of been able to bottle directly from the keg. I've only done it a few times so far with the beer gun from Blickman. I'm kind of still getting the hang of that, getting carbonation, transfer rate, all that kind of going. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing. There's a couple different like tools or whatever that you can use. Like I was looking at getting one of those the golly, what are they called? Anyways, it's like basically like the tap style counterflow uh, bottler. I was looking at getting one of those, but I decided after talking to a few people that I knew and trusted pretty well, it really kind of pushed me towards the beer gun. I enjoy it. I think it works better personally as a two-person operation. One person kind of filling up a bottle and then the other person capping. Just because there's kind of a lot that you're trying to do there at one time. Let's see here. The blueberry wheat was from a big brew day. Our club put together right now. Just some group partner theme this year. Blues. Oh, that's pretty cool. You just boiled some more. Just call it good. Yeah, yeah. 5 points is necessarily worth chasing sometimes. I'll chase 10 points. I've chased 5 and 3 points before, but sometimes it's just not worth the squeeze there. Speaking of squeeze, it's almost time to, as my old buddy Northwest says, drain the green, and then we're going to squeeze the bag. Kevin, I love my beer gun. You were one of the people that helped push me towards getting the beer gun. Uh, like I said, I still got some more stuff there. Hold on, bud. So the yeah, I'm still trying to figure out that whole bottling, beer with the beer gun and all that. So the the first time that I bottled with it, everything went good. I followed the directions. Basically, you're supposed to bump down off of the basically like the regulator going from the keg to there lower than your normal serving pressure. I'd have to go back and look at the recommendations just because it's been a while since I bottled with it. So first time went smooth without a hitch. I I I bottled the Rye Irish Stout from earlier this year and the birthday stout from my birthday party back in December. So that went good. Uh, then so we had the first round of competition beers that were going out for a few competitions after the first of this year started going, and I had problems with one beer, and it was slightly overcarbonated, and I had already been trying to like bleed down the carbonation for that, and so when I went to go fill up that bottle, it was still a touch over carb. So I ended up with like low bottle fills, which low in the sense of, it was maybe like, I don't know, quarter inch, half inch lower than normal would be in a beer bottle, right? So it wasn't that bad. Um, there were some comments made on turn in for that beer. I was actually at that bottle sort for that competition, so some people said some stuff about it. But all the rest of the beers that I put in for that competition, everything was good. Since then, everything that I've bottled, I've gone back and like put them in the refrigerator and drunk them just for like quality assurance to make sure. I think I could get away with adding a little bit more CO2 when I'm filling up the bottles. But I think everybody's going to be just a little bit different because everybody stores their beer at a little bit different of temperature. Everybody carbonates to slightly different carbonation levels, and everybody has their own carbonation style too. You know what I mean? So I think all that kind of plays into the bigger picture. So it's just about fine tuning that. But the way that the headspace and all that works when you're using like that beer gun is so you're going to stick it all the way in the bottom, and then you've got like a thumb trigger, and you're basically flushing the bottle with CO2. Then after that, uh, then you pull the trigger for the beer to come in, and then once the beer goes and you kind of get a little bit of a foamy head there towards the top, you can pull it out and then go put your cap on it immediately. And then after that, then it's got that like inch and a quarter's worth of headspace there that you would normally have when you're bottle conditioning beer or buying commercial beer, whatever, so you get it just about right there. Um, like I said, I still got some fine tuning to do there. We're close, I feel like. I don't know how much of that I'm going to kind of get beat up in on some of the competitions. I'm trying to wait to get some score sheets back on that to see how good of a job I've done, how much of that is complained upon or dinged or whatever the case may be there. I'm sure to some extent it is going to be, especially with that one that I overcarbonated. It was a low fill, but like I said, it wasn't out of it wasn't crazy. It wasn't like half a bottle or anything like that. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I could probably go get a bottle here in just a moment of some beer that I bottled not too long ago and kind of show you what I'm talking about. Um, but like I said, I think that they could use just a touch more carbonation and CO2 going into those bottles than what I'm currently doing. Kevin, I know, has probably got a little bit more experience there. Northwest, I know I don't know how he packages his beer. I suspect he's using something similar. Uh, Hops and Wrenches I know he's played around with some stuff there too. Brian, how are you filling your beers up? Are you doing a counterflow or counter pressure? Or are you using a beer gun? While these people chime in, it's time for me to go ahead and pull the grains out real quick. right. It's like we're right there about on our volume. To verify that. Okay, our pre-bowl, we're a little bit low. Not bad though. I could probably squeeze out what I need out of that bag. Be right back. Got to grab a sample deal. All right, let's see here. So Brian, tap cooler, so a counter pressure filler. So you've been bottling just straight off the keg without a CO2 supply Northwest before going back to bottle conditioning a little bit. Brian, you're wrong, dude. Brian's been drinking before getting on the live chat. All right. So our pre-bowl is supposed to be 10:58. Well, we hit it. No, we won't. All right, so All right. Give me a second. I'll catch up on some of these comments in just a minute. Be right back. All right. So we were a little bit low on the volume. We were a little bit low on starting gravity or OG pre bowl gravity. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I squeezed a little bit more wort out to get us back up to volume and a little past where we're supposed to be. Sorry if we've cut out a little bit here. Let's see. That's out for a bit. I'll check back, distract you from your hop edition. Yeah, thank you. Jaggers chickens lay eggs. Tastes like beer. I wish that's how it worked, but that's not really how it works. We actually the chickens only get a portion of that grain anymore. Now we've got a like a composting deal that we're trying. And it's working out pretty well. So that it produces basically bugs for the chickens instead of getting the grains. So it's kind of we get compost and they still get fed off the grains. So kind of double dipping there. So the only reason that I will basically squeeze the bag anymore is if I'm a little low on volume or I need some more sugars or whatever. Um, Generally, I find that I still need probably quarter to half a gallon uh, for my volumes and my sugars. At the end of the day, they always come right out. This one is kind of being temperamental, uh, at least right now. But we'll probably end up just boiling for an extra, 15, 30 minutes or something like that. I need to get in some better light, but I actually think now that we're right on track. Yeah, so worked out actually. Squeezing the bag, I got a little extra sugars, and I'm a little over volume. No big deal there. So essentially, Tommy, to answer your question, like sometimes squeezing the bag is kind of like sparging, right? Which I guess you could sparge, but then at that point you're just adding more water to the sugary concentration, right? Right. So now that that is done, it's the one that I used. Yep, that one. I've never been able to really pick out too many taste when doing that. Just always, unless there's a lot of specialty like dark grains in there. Tastes like sugar and starch. Alrighty, time for the mash outs. 168, here we come. Uh, bu- 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 bu. So who else is in here? Looks like we got about 5 people still watching. I see Chris Morrow commenting back a little bit. Northwest, you still here, bud? Tommy, are you using electric or propane? I'm using a propane burner. Um, the so I started off originally. I don't know where you're at, but here in Texas, you know, we turkey frying and crawfish boiling is a pretty big deal. So what we do is, throughout the summer and fall and etc. We're always outside cooking, spring, whatever. So they had a turkey fryer crawfish uh, combination deal, and that's what I started off all grape brewing on. It was a little slow to get up to speed for coming to boil and all this other stuff. It was made out of aluminum. Didn't have any marks in the kettle, no thermometer on the kettle or anything like that. So I did, I don't know, probably 20, 30 batches of beer when I stepped into this thing on that same burner. Well, I got kind of caught up in a bind, and I had to brew some beer for like somebody's event or something like that. And the regulator for that propane burner went out. I couldn't get it to light, couldn't get it to stay lit. So I went ahead and I bought a replacement one, and that one was more PSI than what the original was uh, meant for. I had to do some modifications to make it work. So I ended up though I was like, man, I'm really kind of been about this, and so we bought that Hellfire Blickman propane burner, and I haven't looked back on it. It's nice to not really have to wait for things to come up to temperature. I mean, yeah, I still wait, but the only drawback is it uses about twice as much fuel as previous propane burner. But I've had this thing for 2, 3 years now, and I cannot recommend this burner. I really like it. Sucks. Yeah. So with propane, how do you maintain your steep temperature? So for my mash temperature and all that, it's got a thermometer on there. So I just do like you would do manually. Essentially, I just watch my temps, right? Make sure that I'm not dipping down too low. I'm not gonna relight it every time it drops down 2 degrees or anything like that. But if I start steadily seeing it go down, then I'll relight it. My brew bags don't normally go all the way down to the bottom, so I don't I don't really worry about them burning when I relight, and then when I relight too, I I'm stirring, right? And so I've learned that if I give it, about 4 degrees leadway while I'm stirring. As long as it's coming up and I get within 4 degrees, if I turn off the burner and just stop right there, put my lid on, then I've gotten back up to temp. I also don't go full bore right when I relight for the mash, right? Because I don't want to burn those grains. I don't want to burn the board. I want to burn the bag. So just basically enough to relight it, pump it up just a little bit more, and just stir. Get that heat generating and moving back up through the walls. Essentially, is what I'm doing. What you're trying to do there. So that's how I maintain. um, I would love to have like an all-in one type brew combo, right? But I don't have a place outside right now with 240 hookup, and in my opinion, I think that's the only reason for me to upgrade to something like that is to go to 240. I don't know what Northwest is using for his. I think Northwest in your system 240. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Um, wouldn't your insulated mash tun do that for you? I So my cooler mash tun that I have, it does hold uh, temp, right? Now it's not. I have mixed results with using that thing, so it does hold some temp. My, my the reason why I brew like this and I do it is I want to be able to clean as least amount of things as possible, right? And so if I've got my cooler mash tun, I'm transferring from that to my kettle. It's a whole nother step in the process of cleaning when it goes. So that's the reason why I do the brew in the bag in this particular kettle. Now I will use that cooler mash tun occasionally when I'm doing like a really big beer or something like I'm trying to decoct with or something like that, where I feel like I can justify the need for it. I've used it a few times. I don't have it down enough to tell you um, that my efficiencies are perfect with using that mash tun, right? But that mash tun, it's held temperatures most of the time. Now we did run into a little bit of a problem when we were doing the Dunkelsbach. We were trying to do like some step mashing with it, and that thing we just could not get it to hold. Like it was kind of bad. I'm brewing a maple donut porter right now. That sounds really really interesting. All right, we're mashing out Northwest 120 claw hammer, but you can't do more than 5 gallon batches. Yeah. Yep. And that's another reason why I would want the 240 is that way I can. I mean, to me, like doing a 110 version of a like all-in-one system that it's not a step up, right? It's kind of either a step down or side step, however you're looking at it. For me personally, and there's nothing wrong with if you guys decide that that's what's for you. Please by all means do that. Don't let me sway you. Uh, I'm able to make 5 gallons of wort once it's fermented out into 5 gallons of beer disappear fairly quickly with all my thirsty friends and stuff like that. Plus, the competitions things like that. And so I don't worry so much about it uh, too much. There have been a couple batches, not very good or kind of missed the thing on the style. So I've poured it out or whatever. But and see, yeah, that's another thing is so I guess for my 240, I could do it inside and plug the stove and do it right there. I could unplug the dryer inside and do it right there, or I would have to get a 240 plug installed outside. And if I'm going to do that, I'd want to have a patio and all that. Like right now, I'm brewing under a canopy, right? A little bit better than those pop up deals. This thing's a lot nicer or whatever. This one's got some age to it. We've got some holes in the canopy, so it is looking a little rough. So it is time for us to do something different. So maybe once we get the pergola or the deck roof put up and stuff, I'll be brewing under that. There's always things in in motion here. We talked about putting a brew shed, back here, and that's still maybe a possibility. And so if I did that, then I would definitely have multiple brew systems going on to where I could brew inside, with the 240, outside with the 240, or this propane. And I really enjoy actually using this burner outside majority of the time. Every once in a while when it's raining or something like that, suck. But it is what it is. Let's see here. I'm brewing on the 3 vessel electric terms. Love it. Yeah, those three vessel systems, man, they look really appealing. And I'll eventually probably yeah, brew one or build one, brew one. I'll, uh, I'll eventually probably put one together. Once we have the space and the time for something like that. I think you can really do some really cool things with that. But just try to keep things a little bit like more modular, right? Or older style or not compatible. Yep, yep. Not only that, but sometimes electricity be scary, and I'm not going to go start putting in all kinds of plugs everywhere. I got to get help with that stuff. I just kind of worry, that's one of those things you don't want to skimp on. You want to make sure you get a professional or somebody that knows what they're doing. We've got a couple rooms left to do in this house that are still 2 wire. But we've put 3 wire through good amount of it. Kind of update some of the plugs and stuff like that. Just kind of like you Northwest, a little bit of an older house, and so you're kind of limited on the fuse box and the mains and all that. Kind of funny when you think about stuff like that sometimes. I am terrible at setting timers during these live streams. I'm all about it and all that when it's just me, I guess not thinking about 40 different things to say, talk about, train of thought, is able to focus on one thing. So the last time that we had a live stream brew, we brewed. I went back and I looked. We brewed a California Common, which was the first time that I brewed it. I had it kind of earlier in the stream here. I've shown it all. So I think I'm going to go get that real quick again and show you guys what that looks like. Because I would not turn down the beer right now. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get that beer and show it to you guys. So here is the California Common. I am just over the moon about how this thing turned out for a first go at it. Nice roast, a little bit of toast to it. It's got a good expression on it. Wonderful head, beautiful color. Just this is turning to be a really great beer. I'll definitely brew it again. You just sit down and look at the style guidelines and see kind of where it's coming in, see if there's any room for improvement there. But I'm really digging this thing. I'll be shooting a grain to glass video, the back end of it, for too much longer. So stay tuned for that. But this has been a nice nice beer to come in on a hot day and drink. I guess the best description that I can declare on it. Whereas, in my opinion, like a Kentucky Common, it's like a dark, like cream ale, right? So this is like a little bit more roastier, toastier, like amber ale, not quite brown ale. Coming in pretty close on our mash out. All right. Well, Tim at Hops and Wrenches, he's done brewing, by God. Well, let's get this party started for the ball. Full tilt, full send. All right. So today's boil editions. Well, let's just start over because I know there's been a few people kind of coming in here. So our grain bill today has been 73.1% pill, 2 row, 8% rye malt, 8% flaked rye, 5% Cara, or sorry, Crystal 60, 4% Carafoam, and then right at 2% Victory malts. Our boil additions today are going to be Mosaic, basically an ounce of that, a Warflock tablet at 15, Simcoe at 15, and then another ounce of Mosaic at 5. So this is going to be a fairly hoppy beer. Northwest Boulevard Imperial Stout aged. You know what? That was the beer you just texted me, wasn't it? Yeah, I haven't had that one yet. I'll have to stay on the lookout for that one. They're I love some of their beers, like some of their barrel aged like stouts or whatever kind of taste weird to me. Like the Rye Rye is awesome. But they had a whiskey stout. Um, and it was, yeah, it was thick, and it was like syrupy, and it tasted like artificial, and it was just weird. I did not enjoy that one. They had a barley wine, I think it was, that was really good. Uh, but I think, if I remember right, I think that one was almost cloying. Like it was kind of almost like sweet tooth like, you know what I mean? Like it was kind of not really weird. It was just that one was different. But I had never really had barley wines. I think that one, yeah, because I had two right around the same time. We do a what are those Christmas calendars called? Advent calendar. Yeah, me and some friends, we got together and we did an Advent calendar this year where we just bought a bunch of craft brews, and there was the Boulevard barley wine there, and then there was a barley wine from a Texas brewery called Real Ale, and that one was they were way